Welcome back to The Race. I'm Chris Stewart here in Chicago in front of Soldier Field. This is home to the NFL's Chicago Bears. Now, 15 years ago, taxpayers paid about $400 million for a major stadium renovation here. Just about 2 years ago, they chipped in another $36 million for what they called stadium enhancements. Now, all across the country, there are new sports stadiums, facilities, arenas being built. Just take a look at this video. This is Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Last year, taxpayers put in about $700 million for that place. It's one of several publicly funded projects in the Atlanta area, so we sent Nicole Vowell there to take a look at who are the real winners and losers.
Even the empty 41,000 seats and freshly groomed dirt comes at a cost.
It's about a $672 million facility, SunTrust Park.
Out of that $672 million, Atlanta Braves president Derek Schiller tells me roughly $400 million came straight from taxpayers in Cobb County, Georgia, a measure approved by a 5-person commission.
They were elected by the community to represent them.
The total $1.1 billion project inside and outside the stadium was all part of a public-private package deal, and taxpayers like Anthony Sierra seem to be enjoying it.
For everything that I've seen lately, it's been a nice little spot.
He and friend Brittany Reynolds say overall they're happy, but do question if their tax dollars could have been better spent.
I wasn't aware that amount of money that went into it. There's so much other things that our money could go towards, like education.
While this may seem like a game with public funds, Schiller says long-term the goal is to make it a home run for all.
Provides great economic vitality to this community, and within just a few short years, the taxpayer will actually make money off of this entire arrangement.
Future revenue, he says, will eventually be funneled back into local needs like education.
$15 million of that goes to the Cobb County school systems.
And whether you think this is a win or not, both sides agree on one thing.
I think that's an eye-opener for folks to make sure that they're being politically savvy.
In order to have a say on this stadium or any other, it's about stepping up to the plate to vote.
And I really do think it's important that fans, constituents understand what they're doing with their funds and how their dollars are put to use.
Because at the end of the day, it does affect you.
For The Race, I'm Nicole Vowell reporting.
Now, when something like a new stadium is being built or a major stadium renovation, it's hard to miss. It's all over the news. But it's nearly impossible to know where every single penny of your federal taxpayer money is going. So let's dive into the things you're not hearing about.
Various lawmakers have done their own reports on taxpayer waste, from Senator Rand Paul's waste report to Senator James Lankford's federal fumbles. We look through them to find some of the more unique ways your taxpayer money has been used. What's the most you've spent on a rug? 45 grand? Yeah, probably not. Well, the National Park Service spent about that much for a replica rug at the Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial in Indiana. The 21-foot hand-braided rug was made to look like one that was gifted to the memorial back in 1943. Visitors were actually allowed to walk on the original one, so that replica will likely have to be replaced one day as well. File this one under redhead problems. In 2016 and 2017, the National Institute of Health spent about $1 million to figure out why redheads are prone to developing melanoma. On the surface, there's nothing wrong with trying to find the source of a deadly cancer. However, the NIH already investigated this and explained the genetics behind it in a 2013 study. So that second $1 million study was essentially a repeat, instead of spending that money studying a possible cure. And finally, it's hard to argue that talent and legacy of the bard William Shakespeare. However, a $30,000 National Endowment for the Arts grant went to a production of Doggy Hamlet. If you look closely, you can see it's a choreographed sheep and sheepdog drama. There are no actual lines from Hamlet spoken in the performance. Of course, one person's idea of waste is another person's worthwhile investment, but you can always check Senate.gov and House.gov to see how your senators and representatives are voting. And you can do this on any issue important to you, not just spending. For The Race, I'm Annie Taylor.
Now, and in order to save money, sometimes parts of government are privatized, which means they're either sold off or transferred into a business or a nonprofit. Big battle brewing right now when you talk about the U.S. Postal Service. Now, you don't directly fund them as a taxpayer, but They borrow government money and they receive a lot of tax breaks. Now, just last year, the U.S. Postal Service said it had a net loss of $2.7 billion. Earlier this month, postal workers across the country protested the president's idea to privatize the Postal Service. The White House pitched the idea back in June as part of a bigger plan to overhaul several government agencies, saying it would make the USPS profitable. A follow-up report was supposed to come in August, but has so far been kept secret. Still to come on The Race, attempted hacks on our election databases on the rise. What we know and what's being done to keep your information safe. That's next.